May 9th, 1940. 4:47 a.m. North Sea off the British East Coast. The sea is slate black and restless, slapping against steel plates already cold enough to burn bare skin. A thin mist crawls low over the water, blurring the horizon into nothing. On the bridge of a small trawler, Lieutenant Commander Geoffrey Taylor tightens his grip on the rail as the wind cuts through his greatcoat. The ship beneath his boots vibrates with the tired rhythm of a civilian engine never meant for war. Ahead, barely visible through the fog, a convoy of merchant ships creeps southward, dark shapes moving without lights like guilty thoughts. Coal dust hangs in the air. Diesel fumes sting the eyes. Somewhere out there, men are holding their breath, because the North Sea is hunting tonight. Below the surface, unseen, a German U-boat slides silently through the water. Its periscope breaks the surface just long enough for a slow, practiced scan. Steel eye, calculating, patient. The commander sees the convoy first, fat targets, slow, vulnerable. Then, off to the side, a small vessel lumbers along the perimeter. No sleek lines, no destroyer silhouette, no threat. A trawler, a fishing boat, the kind of ship the Kriegsmarine has learned to ignore. On the bridge of HMT Ayrshire, Taylor feels it before he sees it, a tightening in the air, the sense that the sea has gone quiet in the wrong way. He raises his binoculars and scans the gray nothingness ahead. Nothing. But experience whispers what the eyes cannot see. Ayrshire is not supposed to be here, not really. She was built to drag nets, not hunt submarines. Her hull is thin, her speed is laughable, her armament, what little there is, has been bolted on in haste. An armed trawler, a stopgap, a gamble. The men aboard know it. Most of them are former fishermen, deckhands, civilians in naval uniforms still stiff from unfamiliar wear. Their faces are drawn, eyes rimmed red from sleepless watches. They joke when they can, curse when they must. But every man aboard understands the truth. If a U-boat decides to kill them, there will be no heroic last stand. Just cold water and silence. Taylor lowers the binoculars slowly. His jaw tightens. The convoy must not break formation. That is the order. If panic spreads, if ships scatter, the submarines will slaughter them one by one. He knows the doctrine. So do the Germans. That makes Ayrshire's role brutally simple. Stay close, look harmless. Be seen, be bait. A lookout suddenly stiffens, eyes locked on the water off the port bow. "Periscope, sir." No shout, no alarm bell, just a flat statement spoken like a death sentence. Taylor steps forward. He doesn't rush. Rushing spreads fear. He sees it then, a thin, unnatural line slicing the surface, gone almost as soon as it appears. The German commander watches through his scope, already dismissing the trawler. Too small to matter, probably armed with nothing more than a token gun, crude by amateurs. His attention shifts back to the convoy. That is when Taylor makes his decision, not to flee, not to warn the convoy with signals that might betray them all, but to turn, slowly, deliberately, toward the unseen predator. "Hard to port," Taylor says quietly. The helmsman hesitates for half a heartbeat, then obeys. Ayrshire's bow begins to swing. Below deck, an engine stutters as it's pushed harder than it likes. The ship creaks in protest. Men glance at one another, confusion flickering across their faces. Why are they turning toward it? Taylor doesn't explain. There isn't time. He knows something the U-boat commander does not. Ayrshire may look like a joke, but she carries depth charges, crude, improvised, mounted in a way that would make a peacetime engineer wince, but they are real. And they are deadly. If you can get close enough, the German periscope rises again. This time, the view is different. The trawler is coming straight at him, not fleeing, not signaling, charging. The U-boat commander frowns. His hand tightens on the scope controls. This is not how fishing boats behave. Taylor feels the moment shift, the instant when predator and prey realize they have misjudged one another. The air on the bridge is electric now. No one speaks. The only sound is the wind and the slap of waves against the hull. You can almost feel the seconds stretching, one sailor will later say, like the sea was holding its breath. Taylor raises his arm. Not yet. Closer. If he drops the charges too early, the submarine will slip away. Too late, and the torpedo tubes will speak first. The trawler barrels forward, absurdly brave, absurdly fragile. Below the waves, the U-boat begins to dive. Taylor sees the telltale swirl on the surface. Now, his arm drops. Release! And the North Sea explodes behind them. The first depth charge hits the water with a hollow metallic splash, rolling once before vanishing into the black. Then another, and another. On Ayrshir's stern, sailors yank release handles with numb hands, muscles straining as if they're throwing their own weight into the sea. The charges slide off their racks and disappear, dragging white scars through the water behind the trawler. For half a second, nothing. Then the sea erupts. A dull, concussive whump rolls through the hull, not a sharp explosion, but a crushing force. Like the ocean itself has slammed its fists together. The deck jumps beneath their boots. Rivets scream. A kettle crashes to the floor below. Men grab for railings. One stumbles and is hauled back upright by his collar. Taylor doesn't flinch. He watches the water astern, eyes narrowed, counting in his head. 3, 4, 5. Another detonation, closer this time. The shock wave slams into Ayrshire hard enough to send a shudder through her superstructure. The engine coughs, recovers, coughs again. Below the surface, steel groans. Inside the German submarine, the lights flicker and die. Men are thrown against bulkheads. Tools clatter loose. A gauge needle spins wildly before jamming at a meaningless number. The commander barks orders in clipped, urgent German. Down angle, hard rudder, take her deeper. But the water pressure outside is already changing. Violently. The depth charges aren't precise, but they don't need to be. Their job is not to hit. Their job is to terrify. Back on the trawler, the smell of cordite drifts across the deck, mixing with salt and diesel. Smoke curls low over the water. Someone laughs, high and sharp, the sound of a man whose nerves have snapped loose for a moment. "Reload!" a petty officer shouts, though they all know the truth. There is no reload. Ayrshire carries only a handful of charges. Each one is precious. Each one spent must count. Taylor scans the surface again, looking for signs. Oil, bubbles, debris, anything. His heartbeat is loud in his ears now, a steady hammer. If the submarine escapes, it will circle back, and this time, it won't underestimate them. "Steady," Taylor murmurs, more to himself than anyone else. The trawler presses on, engines whining in protest. She's not fast, but she is relentless. Taylor orders a shallow zigzag, forcing the submarine to keep guessing where the next explosion will fall. Below, the U-boat shudders again as another charge detonates closer than the last. A valve wheel snaps from its spindle. A sailor screams as hot oil sprays across his arm. "Surface!" someone shouts from the control room. "She won't take much more." The commander hesitates. To surface is to expose himself, to risk gunfire, ramming, humiliation. But staying down means death by pressure and concussion. He clenches his jaw, calculations racing. This is madness. This trawler, this ridiculous little ship, should not be able to threaten him like this. But it is. On Ayrshire, a lookout suddenly points, arm rigid. "Oil slick! Dead astern!" Taylor steps forward. There it is, an unnatural sheen spreading across the waves, black against black, catching the thin gray light of dawn. It's not proof of a kill, but it is proof of pain. Taylor's mind races. He knows what this means. The submarine is damaged, hurting, and a wounded U-boat is the most dangerous kind. He turns to the depth charge crew. "How many left?" "2, sir." 2. The convoy looms in his peripheral vision now, dim shapes still plodding along, oblivious to how close they've come to annihilation. If the U-boat surfaces among them, it will be a slaughter. Taylor makes his next move quickly. "Bring us around. Slow." The helmsman blinks. "Slow, sir?" "Yes," Taylor says. Let him think. The trawler eases off, her wake flattening. The explosions stop. The sea settles, returning to its deceptively calm breathing. Silence. It stretches. 10 seconds. 20. Below the surface, the German commander listens. No more detonations. No propeller racing overhead. Has the trawler given up? Is the convoy now his again? He orders the boat up, slowly, cautiously, toward periscope depth. The periscope rises, and through it, he sees Ayrshire, closer than expected, still there, still watching. The realization hits him like another depth charge. They're waiting. Taylor sees the swirl of water again, feels it in his bones. Stand by, he says softly. This time, the submarine does not dive. It breaks the surface. A dark, wet shape surges upward, water cascading off its hull. The conning tower appears, followed by the unmistakable outline of a German U-boat, caught in the open like a surfacing whale. For one frozen heartbeat, both crews stare at each other. The fishermen-turned sailors on Ayrshire gape in disbelief. They've forced a U-boat to the surface. Taylor doesn't waste the moment. Last charge, he orders. The charge rolls free. The final depth charge disappears beneath the waves, just as the U-boat's deck guns clear the water. The timing is almost cruel. The explosion detonates shallow, too shallow to crush the pressure hull, but close enough to punch the sea upward in a violent white column. Water slams back down across the submarine's deck, knocking men off their feet as they scramble from the conning tower. The U-boat rocks hard, momentarily out of control. On Ayrshire, the blast rolls through the hull like a thunderclap. Spray rains across the bridge windows. Someone swears. Someone else laughs again, breathless and disbelieving. Taylor is already moving. Gun crew, open fire! Ayrshire's single naval gun, small, temperamental, and bolted to a deck never designed to bear its recoil, swings toward the submarine. The gunner's hands shake as he grips the firing lanyard, eyes locked on the dark shape ahead. This is not a drill. This is a fishing trawler shooting at a German submarine in open water. The gun barks. The recoil jolts the deck. The shell splashes short, throwing up a fountain of water just off the U-boat's bow. It's not accurate fire, but it doesn't need to be. The message is clear. We can hurt you. On the submarine, chaos erupts. Orders are shouted over the roar of water and engines. The deck gun crew tries to bring their weapon to bear, but the boat is still wallowing, damaged systems struggling to respond. The commander scans the horizon. Where are the destroyers? Where is the air cover? There is nothing, just the trawler, just this absurd, relentless little ship, and beyond it, the convoy, still intact, still moving, still alive. The realization settles in with cold clarity. If he stays, he risks capture or destruction. If he dives again, the damage might finish him. His mission, to annihilate the convoy, is already compromised. He makes the call. Crash dive! No. Full ahead. Disengage! The U-boat's engines roar as it lurches forward, turning away from the trawler. Smoke belches from the exhaust. Men scramble below, hatches slamming shut as the submarine claws for distance. On Ayrshire, the crew watches in stunned silence as the enemy begins to flee. Sir, someone says, barely daring to hope. They're running. Taylor keeps his binoculars raised, tracking the submarine as it pulls away, low in the water, wounded but alive. Keep on them, he orders. Don't let them turn back. The trawler follows, her bow slicing through the waves with stubborn determination. She cannot catch the submarine if it dives, but she doesn't have to. She only has to stay between it and the convoy. Minutes stretch into long, breath-held stretches of time. The U-boat maintains course away from the merchant ships, choosing survival over slaughter. Eventually, it submerges again, but farther out now, farther away, its opportunity gone. Taylor lowers his binoculars at last. It's over. Slowly, the tension drains from the ship. Men sag against bulkheads. Someone wipes his face with shaking hands and realizes they're wet with tears, not spray. Another lights a cigarette with fingers that won't quite cooperate. The convoy continues on, unaware of how close it came to disaster. Taylor allows himself one deep breath. They have done it, with a fishing boat. But as the adrenaline fades, a new thought settles in, heavy, sobering. No one may ever know. There is no burning wreckage, no dramatic sinking, no prisoners hauled aboard, just a U-boat driven off and a convoy that survives to fight another day. In war, that kind of victory often goes unnoticed. Taylor turns back toward the convoy, already thinking of the report he will write, plain, factual, stripped of emotion. He knows how it will read. Engaged enemy submarine. Depth charges expended. Enemy forced to withdraw. It won't capture the fear, the audacity. The moment when a trawler stared down a wolf and made it blink. And somewhere beneath the waves, the German commander will carry his own report, one that quietly acknowledges a truth he will never forget. Sometimes, the smallest ships are the most dangerous. But the sea has a way of keeping secrets, and this one is not finished yet. The North Sea settles back into its uneasy rhythm, as if nothing remarkable has happened. Gray water, gray sky. The convoy's silhouettes fade slowly into the mist ahead, engines thudding in monotonous reassurance. Life, somehow, goes on. On HMT Ayrshire, the aftermath arrives quietly. The gun crew secures the weapon with hands that still tremble. The depth charge racks sit empty now, metal cradles holding nothing but seawater and the echo of what might have been. Below deck, engineers check valves and fuel lines, listening for sounds they don't want to hear, the hiss of a leak, the groan of a cracked plate. Ayrshire is intact, barely. Taylor walks the deck, boots ringing softly on steel. He speaks to no one for a moment, just nods, touches a shoulder here, meets a pair of eyes there. These men were fishermen a year ago. Some of them still smell faintly of rope and cod. Now they've faced down a submarine and lived. Good work, he says at last. It's understated. It's enough. One of the younger sailors looks back toward the empty sea. Do you think we got him, sir? Taylor considers the question carefully. No, he says. But we stopped him. That answer seems to settle something. They resume their stations. The trawler slides back into position along the convoy's flank, once again just another forgettable silhouette in a dangerous sea. But beneath the calm, Taylor's mind is already replaying the encounter, frame by frame. He knows how close they came, not just to victory, but to annihilation. A single torpedo, properly aimed, would have split Ayrshire in half. There would have been no time for heroics, only cold water, only names added quietly to a list. He knows, too, that the German commander made a choice, to withdraw rather than press the attack. Courage is not owned by one side alone. Fear, either. The war is still young. In France, German armor is already grinding forward. In Britain, few truly understand what kind of fight this is about to become. At sea, the U-boats are multiplying, growing bolder, deadlier. And the ships like Ayrshire are all that stand between merchant sailors and the abyss. Days later, Taylor submits his report. It is, as expected, restrained. Coordinates, times, ammunition expended, observations of oil and surfacing, enemy forced to withdraw, convoy safe. There's no room in naval paperwork for the moment when a trawler charged a submarine on instinct alone. No box to tick for audacity. The Admiralty takes note, but quietly. No headlines follow. No medals are rushed out. There are bigger disasters unfolding now. Ports falling, armies retreating, entire nations collapsing under the German advance. The sea fight of May 9th becomes a footnote, filed away under routine escort operations. On the German side, the reckoning is sharper. The U-boat limps back to base, battered and humbled. Engineers swarm over it, muttering over bent fittings and cracked mounts. The commander writes his own report, choosing his words with care. He does not write fishing boat. He writes armed trawler. He notes aggressive maneuvering, unpredictable tactics, determined pursuit. Between the lines is an unspoken admission. He was outplayed. In the weeks that follow, German submariners become more cautious around small vessels. Some will remember this encounter when a trawler appears on the horizon and hesitate, just long enough for a convoy to slip by. That hesitation will save lives. Back aboard Ayrshire, there is no parade, no speech, just another patrol, another gray dawn, another cold watch on the bridge. But something has changed. The crew stands a little straighter now. They trust their ship. They trust each other. And they trust the quiet man on the bridge who didn't flinch when the sea revealed its monster. Taylor, for his part, carries the weight of the decision he made. He knows that boldness saved the convoy, but he also knows how easily it could have killed them all. That knowledge never quite leaves him. The war will grind on. Bigger ships will fight bigger battles. Names like Bismarck and Ark Royal will dominate headlines. But scattered across the cold oceans, small ships will keep doing impossible things unnoticed. Because sometimes survival depends not on firepower, but on nerve. And in May 1940, nerve was enough. The patrol does not end with celebration. It ends with routine. Ayrshire keeps station through the rest of the day, her crew alert but subdued, eyes sweeping the water for a threat that never returns. The North Sea remains what it has always been, indifferent, unforgiving, endless. If it remembers what happened here, it gives no sign. By nightfall, the convoy reaches safer waters. One by one, the merchant ships peel away toward their destinations: coal, steel, food, ammunition, lifelines for a country bracing itself for invasion. Their crews never know how close they came to death, and they never need to. That is the point. Taylor watches the last ship disappear into the dark, then finally allows himself to rest his hands on the bridge rail. Only now does the fatigue arrive, heavy and unavoidable. His shoulders ache, his eyes burn. The cold feels deeper than before. Victory, he knows, often arrives like this, quiet, unnoticed, already slipping into memory. In later years, historians will struggle to place moments like this on a timeline. No confirmed kill, no wreck on the seabed, no dramatic photograph, just a gap in German patrol logs, a convoy that survives when it should not have. But war is not won only by what is destroyed, it is won by what endures. HMT Ayrshire will continue to serve throughout the early years of the war, one of dozens of armed trawlers thrown into the Atlantic like stones against wolves. Some will not come back. Many will vanish without witnesses. Their names will be read aloud in quiet rooms, then folded into history. But on May 9th, 1940, one of them stood its ground. A fishing boat mocked by design and dismissed by an enemy commander chose to act like a warship when it mattered most. And because of that choice, because of one calm officer and a crew willing to follow him, an entire convoy lived to sail another day. You can almost imagine the moment lingering on the water, the fading echo of explosions, the last ripple from a diving submarine, the trawler pressing on, small but unbroken, no medals, no headlines, just a line of ships moving safely through the mist, and somewhere beneath the waves, a German commander who would never again laugh at a fishing boat.